Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Aristotle's Children, How Christians, Muslims, and Jews Rediscovered the Ancient Wisdom and Illuminated the Dark Ages, by Richard E. Rubenstein, narrated by Nelson Runger. This book is copyrighted 2003 by Richard E. Rubenstein. This recording is copyrighted 2003 by Recorded Books. Richard E. Rubenstein is a graduate of Harvard University Law School and is a Rhodes Scholar, studying also at Oxford. He is currently a professor at the Institute for Conflict Analysis and Resolution at George Mason University and is an expert on religious conflict in both its historical and modern manifestations. Professor Rubenstein is the author of many books and articles and is a frequent guest on talk shows and news programs. He currently lives in Fairfax, Virginia with his family. And now, Aristotle's Children.
Preface. From the beginning, Aristotle's Children has been a series of surprises. One maps out a book in advance, of course, just like planning for any other journey. But there are books that carry the author in unforeseen directions. Journeys that end with the traveler gazing wide-eyed at a landscape that resembles nothing in any tourist guide. I first came across the story of the Aristotelian Revolution while doing research on the causes of religious conflict. In the 12th century, I learned, Christian churchmen working in formerly Muslim Spain rediscovered the bulk of Aristotle's writings, which had been lost to the West for almost 1,000 years. No intellectual discovery before or after had anything like the impact of this remarkable find. Translated into Latin by multicultural teams of scholars and distributed throughout Europe's new universities, the recovered documents triggered a century-long struggle that forever altered the way we think about nature, society, and even about God. The story itself was the first surprise. What most astonished me was how little known it was, considering its high level of dramatic interest and great historical importance. The Aristotelian Revolution transformed Western thinking and set our culture on a path of scientific inquiry that it has followed ever since the Middle Ages. The confrontation between faith and reason that turned the medieval universities into ideological battlegrounds continues to this day in societies around the globe. One could hardly imagine a more pertinent story for modern readers. Yet few people outside a small circle of academic specialists seem to know anything about it. This was a puzzle whose solution eluded me until I had written most of the book. One clue was the growing uneasiness I felt as I plunged more deeply into research about life in the medieval universities and the Church's reaction to the Aristotelian challenge. The historical materials seemed to contradict much of what I had been taught to believe about the emergence of the modern world from medieval backwardness. I knew, or thought I knew, that the High Middle Ages in Europe was an era of passionate religious faith, and the bloody crusades, inquisitorial terror, and fierce doctrinal dogmatism. I knew, or thought I knew, that Aristotle was the father of science, a thinker who believed that human reason, not tradition, revelation, or sentiment, could uncover objective truths about the universe. Naturally, in bringing these volatile extremes together, I expected an explosion. The Aristotelian Revolution would...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.